I'd like to call the Richmond Parks and Recreation Board to order, and I will now read the mission statement. The Richmond Parks and Recreation Department provides for the positive development and well-being of the Richmond community through the provision of parks, greenways, trails, and recreational programming and facilities, while working in cooperation with other service providers and partners in the community to maximize all available resources. Looks like we have a special guest today. Denise?
Actually, Lonnie Snow wasn't able to make it. He had a special presentation for us to deliver to the board in October. So I just wanted to address with the board that there was their first fire truck pool in 2024 from the Special Olympics, and they presented us with a thank you for their achievements, and they brought this award, and he was going to present it to the board in October. So I just wanted to show this to the board, and you can look at that. But yeah, we were happy to support that event. They had it at Elstro Plaza. It seemed like it turned out very nice for their first event, and they hope to do that again. So it was kind of a city effort, and not only we were involved, but also the fire department and some other city resources. So we were happy to help.
That's great.
You have employee of the month?
Yes. So Larry wasn't able to attend today either, but we do have the employee of the month, Larry Oler, and I'll read to you the questionnaire. So Larry has been on the park team for 4 seasons. He has always been a mower, a seasonal mower. The best thing he likes about his job is being outside, and his favorite park is Glen Miller. He normally mows here in Glen Miller. If you had to plan a perfect day on the job, it would be no rain, so he could continue to mow. And if you had one wish and you had to use it for parks only, what would you wish for? Not getting hit by tree limbs. So Larry is very dedicated to parks, and he can't work every day, but he comes in when he can work, and so that's why he was nominated as Employee of the Month, because he works very hard when he is here. He's been through several health ups and downs here lately, and so he still comes in and does his best. So we appreciate Mr. Larry.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Looks like we need to amend the agenda to add new business items B and C.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend the agenda to add those new business items. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. On to the approval of minutes from September 12th. Have folks have a chance to review those minutes? If so, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the September 12th minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. On to the administration report. Denise.
Yeah, I thought it would be a great time to give you a project update for the gorge, and so that is my report today. Here is a timeline for you under the gorge project update. I would like to highlight that we will need to kind of change our date for the park board meeting in December due to the bids needing to come in on a certain time frame for the test road trailhead. So we will need to, if it's okay with the board, we will need to make sure that we meet on the 19th instead of the actual 12th. That's our regular scheduled meeting is the 12th. And we can certainly meet on the 12th, but we'll have to meet on the 19th as well. So whatever the pleasure of the board is, but we will have all the bids due on the 19th at 3:30, and we will have contractors in the room to review those bids, and we will have to open those in a public meeting. So it is up to the board to have 2 meetings 2 weeks in a row, or have our regular scheduled meeting on the 19th. So that is up to you on how you would like to handle that. You make a decision.
Thoughts from the board?
Seems best for me to do it on the 19th, a regular board meeting. Move it a week.
I agree.
Okay.
Sounds like we're on agreement.
Sounds good. We won't have to take action necessarily on those bids, of course, but we might have other action that we would need in a regular scheduled board meeting. So I just wanted to share with you the timeline there and what is...
4 p.m., right?
Yes.
Same time.
Correct, 4 p.m. The bids will be due at 3:30, and so the contractors might be hand delivering them so they can stay and listen to the rest of the bids that are coming through. And this is for the Land and Water Conservation Fund Test Road Trailhead bid that is going out. Yes, and obviously also the launch pad on that side of the south end. So also the conceptual design is underway for concept A and B, and I've added those there to your to my report. This is Test Road Trailhead, as you've seen, and as I've kind of given you some updates along the way in your report. You can pull those up as you have had the opportunity. So this is the final concept. This is what we're bidding out and working with the DNR on. There's 2 concepts that I've given you, concept A, concept B, very similar in scope, and I've been kind of working with several people, getting their thoughts and their ideas, especially maintenance and how we maintain things, as well as other people in terms of aesthetics and things like that. So really the high winner is concept A. And so I worked with the consultants today to really tweak concept A and make it more maintenance friendly for us so that it doesn't call for mowing and taking care of it on a regular basis, but maybe just a once over every once in a while. So I'm really happy with concept A, so I wanted you to kind of really look at that. We're going to go back to the drawing board with concept A with those tweaks, and then I'll bring that back to the board to showcase kind of our changes that we had made. Some of those changes are, obviously it has horse fencing, those are the slatted boards. We think it's time that we really look and see if we can fit that into the scope where we have the metal pedestrian fencing it's going to be a little bit more lower maintenance where the boards aren't going to rot in several years, but that it'll last good quality for us to continue moving forward. Additionally, there were some areas that we wanted to highlight for more fishing opportunities at the Weir Dam overlook. And some of those things also, I really wanted to see some more kayak pull-ins for kayak trailers. And so I asked for those to be kind of fit in there a little bit. Might have to move over some seating areas to accommodate that. And so those are just some things that we'll look in the design. Yeah. So exciting stuff, right? All exciting things.
Okay.
And so this, just to remind you, is along Simhajan, along where the Weir Dam on the other side of where the lock bridge is, the swinging bridge, and on the other side of Veterans Park. Okay. Any questions on the timeline? I'm sure you can read through the completed and next steps and what we've got going on there.
Any questions from the board?
Exciting stuff.
It is really, really exciting that we're even bidding out. So today we went through the whole spec book, and the advertisements will be happening, get that out. And so, yeah, it's really happening. We've been working on this for 2 years. So, yeah, the gorge is really going to happen. And so you guys should be very excited because we have been working on this for quite some time. And so once I think people really see Test Road appear and construction happening, it'll continue to fold out, and we'll really see some magic happening in the gorge. Any questions on that? Okay.
All right, moving on to division reports, financials.
I just wanted to go over some positives from this month, or not this month, but September's financials, because we kind of have the end of the year for like pool and everything coming in, and I just wanted to point out how good the pool ended the year, where we exceeded our expectations that we had budgeted as far as revenues when it comes to concessions, our daily entries, and our pool rentals, so like pool parties and such. I just wanted to point out that we went above what we projected on those. And so while a lot of times we focus on where we go above budget on Expenditures, we miss sometimes where we go above budget on revenues too. So I wanted to point out how well we did this year. Senior Center has gone above and beyond as well. And theirs is just for September so far, so I can't wait to see what they end out the year on. And then even a couple of the Highlands, their driving range as far as September had exceeded what they had projected as well. And I know they struggle with some other things, but I want to point out where they have exceeded as well. So where there's still some struggles and expenses going on that we're working through, we have also done very well throughout the summer. And I just wanted to point that out on top of everything else.
So is there a reason why things exceeded with the pool this year as opposed to,
We had a lot of good,
Previous years.
solid
I think it's
summer days.
Yeah, I think it's just a really good summer. We had a full staff. People just wanted to be outside, I guess. I don't know what it was, but we just had a really good summer this year. And so,
The weather just sometimes takes a toll. About 3 years ago, when we weren't full staff, we had to shut down a couple different times. Sometimes when we had issues with some of our equipment or our chemicals, things like that, we had to shut down. We have 3 certified pool operators right now. We've set ourselves up to continue operation, and we had a lot of people that wanted to work at the pool this year, and that's always a good sign. And then with the weather cooperating for us, we just had a lot of things in our corner, and that's always a good thing.
I don't know if we had to shut down a full day because of weather. I think there were some early days or some not so sure if we were going to open days, but I don't know. There might have been maybe one rain day, but compared to since I've been here the past few years, I don't think we've had a full rain day this summer. So between the weather, the full staff, I think we just had a really good summer. And so I just wanted
Take it.
I wanted to point out the positives because usually I'm pointing out some of the negatives. So I wanted to point out where we have some positives too. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
questions?
It's exciting.
Other divisions want to share any news or anything?
We wanted to highlight some of the JUCO presentation, if that is okay, and then I also just wanted to draw your attention to the COAD shelter. I wanted to introduce this a little bit, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in December. But the Red Cross, this is kind of a deal where we've been asked to be a shelter in a time of need at the Seniors Recreation Center. And so it's something just to look over. They'd like us to be a level 3 there, and I think it's something that we should just kind of look over and see if that's something we would want to do. If there was a disaster that would happen in our area, is that something that we would like to take on at the Senior Recreation Center, because they have asked us to become a shelter in a time of need. So that's something I'd like the board to just review in this document, and that's why I put that on there. Additionally, I don't know if you were aware, but we did receive that grant award through the Wayne County Foundation in the amount of $14,700. And that is to do programming for the Senior Recreation Center, as well as buy e-bikes and a bike share to do some hiking and a hiking club, as well as some of the wellness programming that Becky's been really working on. And so I did provide one of her wellness brochures so that you could see that. And so lots of great stuff going on at the Senior Recreation Center. If you get a chance to go by, it's buzzing, and they are growing by leaps and bounds every single day. She's sending me, we got 4 more new members, we got 10 more new members. This month we got this many new members. So, it's really happening out there. And so if you get a chance, stop by.
You're on that table. Anything to share?
Okay, so rewinding just a little bit to talk about JUCO, you've all gotten a copy of the JUCO report, so I'll just hit on some of the high points of it. We had a really great summer. We had a really great staff. We focused pretty heavily on hiring individuals who either had some sort of teaching experience or were headed into some type of early childhood education. Had one staff member that her goal is to be a pediatric nurse and so, or pediatric doctor. So, really focused on that, and I think it helped. I think that they were really able to connect with the kids. And we just had a phenomenal summer. We enrolled 329 kids into JUCO. We had record numbers at all of our locations. Springwood, Glen Miller, both filled to capacity. Mary Scott was very close. Vale, we tripled our enrollment from last year. We still have some room to grow there, but it was really positive to see a lot of those kids coming almost every single day and coming back and really being able to enjoy camp. Little JUCO was full at both locations. We enrolled 60 kids in Little JUCO, and for the first time ever, JUCO Rocks was full with 15 kids. We're already looking to potentially extend JUCO Rocks into a 2-week camp this coming summer. It was kind of requested from the parents and the staff, and everybody just had a really great time, and they said, hey, this is rocking and rolling now, let's do it for the full 2 weeks. And so I see a lot of growth happening, and I think we've got some really great staff that plans to come back this summer. In terms of attendance, again, we also really benefited from the weather. I don't think we had maybe one pool day that we had to send the kids home early, but that was it in terms of weather. They maneuvered that really well. We got very lucky. So as far as field trips go, we were able to complete all of our field trips this year. We went out to Middle Fork Reservoir one day. We went to Hayes Arboretum, Joseph Moore Museum, and then we took the kids to the Wayne County Fair, so they got to go around and see the animals, and a lot of these kids wouldn't get those opportunities, without JUCO. Funding wise, we received $25,000 in grants that was used towards arts and crafts, supplies like sunscreen, bug spray, first aid supplies, t-shirts. All the kids got to tie-dye their t-shirt and take it home again, and of course staffing and transportation. So really great summer. I'm excited now after being through it once to now just keep growing it and keep getting more kids. We're looking at ways that we can maybe even get more kids involved this year. Get wait lists going and make sure that if a kid has to drop off because, vacations, we can make sure we're getting someone in there to fill their spot, even on those locations that filled up really quickly. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer it, but very, very proud of the staff this summer. They did a great job.
Yeah, I think you pretty much answered my question, which was where do you go from here?
Mm-hmm.
What are some visions you have for next year?
Yeah, well again, growing JUCO Rocks is going to be a big one. I think we're looking at maybe growing the numbers at Little JUCO. I think we've gotten to a point where we can maybe handle enrolling even more kids at those camps. And then thinking even bigger, we're talking about trying to develop a program for, we've got our junior counselor program in place, but we'd really like to think about maybe being able to do something in that age 13 to 15, where kids they age out of JUCO, and if they're not interested in becoming a junior counselor, where does that leave them? And they're still not old enough to drive and go do, their own thing in the summer. So we're definitely working on some plans to keep growing that and maybe including a wider age group. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to board concerns or comments. Delegation correspondence.
I just wanted to share with you the state of Indiana letter where we were accepted for the Indiana State Historical Marker Program. And this is also very exciting for the opportunity here. So I just wanted to let you know that we submitted it for the Jeanette Records Hall Walk of Fame. So we will have a historic marker. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes. So I just wanted to share with the board. And tourism also supported this, as well as a student applied for us. And so it was a really exciting project, and so Wayne County Tourism Bureau and the Parks Department split the cost of the historical markers. So it'll take a while for it to get created, and then we'll have some proofs and things like that, and then we'll have a marker party or something like that, installation party.
Moving on to old business, we have the approved budget.
Yes, I added this to your documents here, so you can look at it at your leisure. But yeah, everything that I presented to you was approved. So I'm very thankful. Thank you, Bill, for all your support as well as the board. And so, I'm very thankful for the support of the administration that we can really get some equipment this year. That was our concentration. And we had to also increase a lot of line items because we've fallen short, of course, in 2024 and 2023. So, yeah, I just gave this to you so you could review that. And if you have any questions, let me know.
All right, moving on to new business. First up, we have a contract 185-2024 to Wilson Outdoor Solutions in the amount of $8,905 for core clarification services at Highland Lake Golf Course and Glenville Golf Course.
Yes, so this was the airification that we needed at Highland, and then while they were here, we went ahead and did Glen Miller as well. This is the fall airification services we provide every year. And we also added top dressing to this. Additionally, I'll have you know that we don't always pull plugs and we don't always do the heavy airification. This year we did that at Highland so that we could make sure that, that the greens got every inch of help that they could get for the fall to help them generate a better healing process going into the spring.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
where are you aerating at Glen Miller?
The 6 greens that we have.
Okay.
Yeah. And also the practice green up front. So we airify those just to make sure that everything is good. It's just a good practice just to make sure that in the fall that all the greens, we put sand down and just really brush that in there. And then we also reseed, put a seed down as well, and then we water everything in.
And it didn't seem like the courses suffered that much from the drought we had. I mean, it was extremely dry this summer.
Glen or Highland?
Highland for sure. Glen also didn't
So
seem too bad.
right around June is where we started to see a lot of the drought issues happen. June for sure is when the drought problem started coming, and in some of the practices, I would say, of the spraying techniques could have been avoided, but yeah, it definitely brought about some issues on the greens that could have been avoided, but we're definitely working through those. It took our greens to a problematic nature
Sure.
from June until now, and so we just hope that they'll come back from that, from the reseeding and the airification of pulling the plugs. It's our hopes that, we've been really working on the pumps and the irrigation, and so, that's another issue, is making sure all of the irrigation is working correctly in every single area. And, we have aging irrigation through the whole course. And so there's a lot of levels to that course on concerns. And so we're definitely working through those and hoping that 2025 is going to be a better year, chemical-wise, and also watering and irrigation and sound for those greens. At least that's our goal.
Great, thanks.
Other questions or comments? If not, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve contract 185-2024 to Wilson Outdoor Solutions.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve contract 185-2024 to Wilson Outdoor Solutions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item B, addendum number 1 for specialized mechanical.
So this was on contract 100-2024. It was for specialized mechanical, and we had to add HVAC that broke down for the following areas, which was Highland and also the maintenance complex. And so instead of doing an entire contract, they decided to do an amendment, addendum to include these areas since it was the same vendor that received the work. So we have two contract vendors who normally do HVAC work, and those were quoted, and Specialized Mechanical received the quotes, received the bids. So they were able to produce the work. And so AJ created this addendum to go forward.
Any question or comments? If so, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the addendum number 1 for specialized mechanical. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next up is approving the temporary easement through Centerpoint Veteran for work along Highland and Cart roads.
Yeah, so this is one of those things that we really don't necessarily, we can sign it afterwards. Okay. So this is one of those things that when you're dealing with the utility, they pretty much call the shots. And this utility, Centerpoint Energy, they're coming through doing work along Highland Road and Cart. They need access to that section over along Highland Road. A lot of it is right away, and I'm going to pass around the map. The squares indicate the section of our golf course that they will have to utilize to, of our land that they'll have to use for a temporary easement. And it is a gas transmission project known as Project 12. And this is just a retrofit line project that they're going to have to do in that area. So they provided us a temporary easement valuation as necessary, and that valuation is 0.23 acres times $2,381.25 times a 10% fee, which equals $500 payment to us for that temporary easement. In that retrofit line project, they are paying us within 20 days of executing the subject area, and in the agreement, we are to provide our W-9, and we are also to sign off from the Board of Parks and Recreation's president to say, yes, you can have this temporary easement through the utility. And we're also to have a notary here while we sign. So the exhibit that you're seeing there is Exhibit A, and that's what's called out on the southeast quarter of Section 16, Township 14 North, and the parcel number is also included in all of the information. So, like I said, when a utility needs access to your property, a utility needs access to your property. There's not a ton you can do. And I have talked through this with them. I also indicated that it is a golf course. And so I know that it's a little small corner of that golf course, but they indicated that they would leave it better than we found it.
I was about to ask that question.
And you know what most utilities do. And I do have contact information here in case there was an issue. And we'll also make sure that we're working with Wes at the same time to make sure that nothing else is a concern. Additionally, that corner is not something that we normally utilize in the golf course. That's a practice area that doesn't even get mowed a ton. You can see that practice green up towards the I guess you would be the north east corner. That is not even touching the areas that they're going to be utilized for the project. I think that there'll be just a little bit of a disturbance on that area. I'm not sure exactly what they'll be doing down the road during, Highland Road. They weren't necessarily able to talk through that because I stated that, we have road frontage all along Highland Road. Is there going to be anything else that they're going to be doing? They don't necessarily have to tell us because that's right away. So.
Okay. Questions and comments? So if there were to be any issues, how does that get resolved?
Then we would contact our point of contact for Synergy, CenterPoint Energy, and talk through those concerns with them. Or go on site to the on-site supervisor. That's what I would do, frankly. Dakota laughs because he knows I will.
Oh, I've seen it.
But, I think that's the fastest way to, if there is an issue, I'm sure that there's a foreman on site.
Okay.
Madam Chair. So who signs off on it? Ultimately, do you? Or
No,
is it the city engineering department?
no, it would be the Board of Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Yeah, we own the land, therefore, you all would approve the temporary easement today, and then the president signs off on behalf.
But isn't there someone that goes out and inspects to make sure that they have done what they say they'll do so that they don't disturb the golf course?
That the checks and balances are, I would assume, since it's Cart Road, I would assume that might be county.
Oh,
So I'm not necessarily sure on that one. I'll have to look at the map and see exactly where that is, and if that would be Steve or if that would be the new person when they come in for that position.
thanks.
But we'll be doing our own.
I guess I asked that question because I have heard from constituents in the city about, Vectren and some of these other utilities that have come in and dug things up and not
That's why I asked that
finished their
question.
jobs.
Yeah.
And so I know was dealing with somebody in the engineering department, but he's gone, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's a valid question,
It is.
because they do a lot of work. They did gas line work on my street about a year and a half ago, and it was not done well. And I had to call and talk to the supervisor and
Yeah,
get that all straightened out. So that's why I would make sure if something happens that you have a contact person
sure.
and that things are rectified, because sometimes you might have to call them several times. So I just want to make sure we have a liaison or someone, a point person, that if there are issues, that we're not being placed on a hold for like 30 minutes or an hour, that we actually talk to someone directly on this.
Okay.
Just from past experience.
Understandable.
All right, if there's no more questions or comments, then I will entertain a motion for this temporary easement.
Make a motion to approve the temporary easement.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the temporary easement through CenterPoint Veteran for work along Highland and Cart roads. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Any other business for today?
I do not have any, and we have our notary here for the CenterPoint, and who will come in while you sign that.
All right, nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.